Good evening and welcome to the news. The lower house will start debating tomorrow the Financial Committee's report over the 2018 draft laws of the state budget and the independent government units' budgets. The House decided to allocate specific time for debates, giving 20 minutes to House block speakers, 7 minutes to block members, and 10 minutes to individual deputies. The House is expected to conclude the draft laws debate by the end of the week, after which the House will vote on endorsing the draft bills. Japan has transferred $170 million in soft loans to the kingdom as direct support to the general budget. Minister of Planning and International Cooperation Imad Fakhoury said the loan, which was extended by the Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA, will support the government's financial sector, business environment, and public service reform policy. It is the second installment of a $250 million soft loan agreement that was signed in December 2016. JICA had then paid the first installment of $85 million. Between 1999 and 2017, Jordan has received more than $1.3 billion in support from Japan, of which $527 million and $23,000 were given as grants, and the rest in soft loans, including JICA's technical support to the kingdom. In the Gaza Strip, Palestinian mourners marched in the funeral procession of a young man who died from wounds sustained in clashes with Israeli occupation forces yesterday. A health ministry spokesperson in Gaza said 21-year-old Jamal Mohammed Musleh was shot in the chest in El Brej camp during clashes with the Israeli army. Palestinian health officials said at least 50 protesters were wounded yesterday by live ammunition, mostly along the Gaza border. Thousands of Palestinians had taken to the streets of Gaza and the occupied West Bank yesterday for the fourth consecutive Friday to protest U.S. President Donald Trump's recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Syrian forces advanced against rebels on the edge of the northwestern province of Idlib, in what is considered the insurgents' last remaining stronghold. The Syrian state news agency said government forces had taken control of 5 villages, areas, and strategic hills in the northeast of Hama province. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, meanwhile, said Syrian troops advanced, seizing several villages in Idlib and surrounding areas. The Syrian government and allied forces backed by Russian warplanes have been battling rebel fighters in an area straddling the border between Idlib and Hama provinces since Monday. A Cairo criminal court sentenced former Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi and 19 others to 3 years in prison and fined him 2 million Egyptian pounds on charges of insulting the judiciary. Others tried by the court in the same case included leading Egyptian activist Ala Abdel Fattah and lawmaker and television presenter Tawfiq Okasha, who were instead given fines ranging from 30,000 to 1 million Egyptian pounds. The verdict can still be appealed. Morsi was overthrown in mid-2013 following mass protests against his rule. He was immediately arrested and is now serving a 20-year sentence after being convicted of inciting the killing of protesters during demonstrations in 2012 and a 25-year sentence for spying for Qatar. Anti-government protests broke out in Iran for the third day running, with separate state-sponsored rallies also being staged to mark the end of unrest that shook the country in 2009. Up to 70 students were said to have gathered in front of Tehran University, hurling rocks at police. A video posted by the People's Mujahideen Organization of Iran showed students chanting "Death to the dictator," an apparent reference to Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. State TV, meanwhile, said that state-sponsored mass rallies were scheduled in more than 1,200 cities and towns in an annual event held to commemorate the end of months of street protests that followed Mahmoud Ahmadinejad's disputed re-election as president. If you want to see the world's largest ice festival, check out the 2018 edition of the Harbin International Ice and Snow Sculpture Festival. The festival has transformed the capital of the northeastern Chinese province of Heilongjiang into a real-life winter wonderland. Braving freezing temperatures, many visitors from far and wide have come to see the various sculptures lit up with LED lights, such as national landmarks, frozen palaces, ice slides, and snow cherubs. This year's festival has incorporated the concept of the Belt and Road Initiative into its design, showcasing the most iconic architecture from countries involved in the project. According to reports, a record of 180,000 cubic meters of ice were used this year, while more than 10,000 staff were involved in constructing the exhibits. In sports, Serena Williams was pleased to get back on court despite losing what was her first match in almost a year against Jelena Ostapenko at the Mubadala World Tennis Championship in Abu Dhabi. Williams failed to fully rediscover her rhythm and quickly dropped the first set 6-2 to the Latvian Ostapenko, the French Open champion. The 36-year-old American roared back to win the second set 6-3 before losing the decisive tiebreak 10-5 in the exhibition match. Switzerland took all 3 wins in the Hopman Cup tie against Japan in Perth. World number 2 Roger Federer began the winning ways for the Swiss team by dispatching Japan's Yuichi Sugita 6-4, 6-3 in just over an hour. His compatriot Belinda Bencic then beat Naomi Osaka 7-5, 6-3 in the women's contest to clinch Switzerland's victory in the round-robin stage of the mixed team event. And finally, a quick look at the weather. It will be cold tonight and tomorrow with partly cloudy skies and westerly moderate winds. Amman can expect a high of 12 degrees Celsius and a low of 4 degrees. In the Gulf of Aqaba, it will be fair tomorrow with a high of 22 degrees, sliding down to 10 at night. With this, we come to the end of tonight's news. I'm Dan Abusham. Thanks for watching and have a good night.